All right, Wild Girls Gone Sober.
Wild Girls Gone Sober. Welcome to another episode. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Amy.
Thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon.
I feel like we haven't seen you in forever.
I know, but we did just record a couple weeks last
we did.
week.
It was like,
yeah.
no, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
We just haven't been as chatty during the week together.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, weird.
So what have you been up to there?
Well, I've been up to my horsey stuff. I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on. Maybe not. Oh, there it is.
Bless you.
Sorry. There it is. Okay, we're good. Been up to my horsey stuff. My horse is a little back sore, so we're doing some meds and trying to straighten that out, and worrying all the horses are having issues with this heat. It's so hot here that they actually deplete themselves of electrolytes and stop sweating, which is really dangerous. They could die. So we're all like panicking a little bit about how hot it is and how muggy, blah, blah, blah.
By we all, she means
My
her
barn
and all
people.
her horse friends.
My barn people. So that's what I've been doing horse-wise. We're prepping for a show. Our first show should be early October, like October 3rd. Yeah, so that's the prep work right now. I haven't been to a meeting in forever. I feel like I went a couple weeks ago with our buddy Amy because it was her 6-month anniversary, and so that was great. We went and picked up a chip with her. And it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting. I enjoyed it very much.
Don't you love when even somebody else gets the chip? It's like you can like bask in their excitement.
Well, and I got to give it to her. It was cool. Like they asked me to do the chips that day because they'll, they just, you know how it is. They randomly ask people to do it. I was like, yeah, I'll do it because I knew she was getting hers, so that was great. So I got to give her chips. That was fun. And then I've logged on a few times to that women's meeting that I shared with you, and I did I wasn't sure when we recorded last, but I had posted it to our Facebook page. So if anybody is looking for it, it is there. I've logged onto that a couple of times because I think it's so cool to listen to all these women with their crazy accents from like Scotland and Ireland and the UK. But I just haven't been on my Zoom meeting much, so I'm feeling a little bad that I'm missing out on the ladies.
Actually have a big day coming up. Amy is coming up on her 1 year.
Couple of weeks.
So that's super exciting.
I forgot my watch, so I don't know what day it is. Today is the 5th, so 20 days. Yeah.
20 days.
20 days to
Mark
a
your
year,
calendars.
which is nuts. It's nuts. And I was telling you earlier that I'm having like all of the memories of the beginning of the end of my quitting drinking are all like flooding my Facebook right now. Facebook's like, hey, remember this? No.
And especially when it gets, I found like as it gets closer to the 1 year is kind of like when we were a little bit more out of control, or at least for me.
Right.
And so
yeah, we went out with a bang.
Right. Those memories are extra bad. So yeah, it
Yes.
is. They do remind you at 2 years too sometimes.
Oh,
so yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
Facebook
I just
will
had one.
Just keep reminding you.
Yeah, I had a 9 years ago memory pop up today. I forget what it was. But yeah, so that's been interesting and reflective because now is the time where I was trying to stop and I was struggling to stop. So like all the really bad stuff already happened. The golf tournaments, all that stuff has gone by. Now, a year ago, I'm in therapy. I'm recognizing I have a problem. I'm trying to stop drinking. I think I had started going to AA even though I was still drinking, but I was trying not to drink. But I couldn't string more than 2 days together at a time. So, to those of you who maybe are brand spanking new or you're thinking about quitting, like it doesn't necessarily happen just because you've decided. Like you decided. No, you don't think so? I feel like we had the golf tournaments back to back, and then you played with your dad and you had like one beer, and then you just stopped.
Well, I had to. I didn't want to. I knew I would lose Pat. And so that was the realization that kind of snapped me into that I had to stop. But again, I mentioned it several times on the podcast. Like I don't know, and this is why I suggest journaling all of your stuff. I don't know exactly how I felt. Like if I was like, oh, I'm just going to be good for a little while. Like I think I was like, oh, this isn't going to be forever. I'm just going to stop until like, and I didn't really think I had an ending to the sentence.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know, but I definitely stopped and then I knew I couldn't go back. It was like, I don't know when that moment happened when I was like, okay, I can never drink again. I think it was at AA with you.
Really?
See, I came
feel
home
like
and
it
just
was before that. I feel like you said it to me.
I might have said it, but I don't think I believed it.
You said, well, that's fair. You said it to me. I remember the conversation. I went to a meeting. I think I called you after I had gone to a meeting. I had left therapy, gone to a meeting because it was after the hurricane, right? We just passed the anniversary of that hurricane because you were away for your
Yeah,
birthday.
my birthday, right.
You had evacuated for your birthday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is totally the timeline. So you evacuated for your birthday. I day drank for a week. Stopped drinking. Saturday was the last day I drank. Sunday,
No, you were on vacation.
no, well, we were all home because of the hurricane.
But then you went to
Yeah,
somewhere.
but wait.
Okay.
So hurricane week, I day drank all week.
Mm-hmm.
I drank Saturday. I didn't drink on Sunday. I went back to work Monday, and by
Oh,
the
that's
end of the
right.
day Monday, I was like rattling out of my skin, like, oh, why am I having such an anxiety belly making dinner? What's wrong with me? And I realized I needed a cocktail. And I actually just told Jay Snow this story the other day. Like I just told him this part, and he was
Aw.
like, "Oh wow, okay."
Oh, you really do have a problem.
He's like, "I didn't think you were quite there, but okay." And then the next day, so I made myself a drink, and then the next day I had therapy with, V, and I told her about it, and she was like, well, I told her about that, about realizing I needed a drink, and then I kind of backtracked and told her how much I had drank while sitting home through the hurricane. She's like, "Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's the question I was going to ask. Like, had you been heavy drinking? Because that makes it worse." So I remember that being like a meltdown day because I was like, "Holy shit, I
I
really
remember
can't fucking stop drinking." So I left her
exactly where
office.
I
I
was.
went to an AA meeting in Gardens. I went to Club Oasis, which I actually really love that place. I think it's a fucking cool shit. Awesome meetings there. Um, I went to that, and then I think I called you on my way home, and that's when, like, I don't know if that was the day I met you for coffee. I remember calling you and
No,
having a meltdown,
the
and you
day
were
we
like, "Do you wanna get a coffee?" And that was but when I called you on my way home and I was talking to you about it, and you said something like, "Yeah, well, I probably can't ever drink again." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know that I'm saying that. I don't know that that's what
I
I'm
remember
saying."
no, and I remember that, and I remember saying it, but I don't know that I had like I believed it coming out of my mouth because even now I'll say things sometimes like one day at a time, and I'm like, oh God, was that me? Like, like so I think as that came out of my mouth, it's like I knew it. It was like the right Lindsay was saying it, and the wrong one was like, oh girl,
You're like,
are
"Is
you
Mike from
what?
meeting behind me? Where did that come from? What just happened?"
So yeah, and then we went to the meeting that Thursday.
Yeah.
And then I came home and I
Oh, you remember
cried.
it was a Thursday? I don't remember
Mhm.
that.
I remember
That was
saying,
the day 3 meeting.
yeah. No, when I
Oh.
met you for coffee was after
Yeah, I didn't
a
stop
different
officially
meltdown.
at that point. Yeah, I think that was when I think it was that day. I think that was well, maybe not.
No, it was after Jay Snow. That's when I met you for coffee.
Oh, so it was before the hurricane then.
Mhm.
Because I was already I was sort of kind of a little bit on best behavior for the week of the hurricane, but it
You
seemed
definitely
like
thought you were because I remember you bragging about it.
But it seemed like it was okay to day drink because we were just like home and he didn't say anything bad. And I think I thought as long as I wasn't like out partying somewhere, I wasn't in trouble. Like if I was drinking at home, it was fine.
Well, you were putting it into a box almost.
Categorizing
Yeah, just
things.
like
Yeah.
these are going to be the rules.
I
as
was
long as, like,
controlling my
yeah,
drinking.
I stay in here. Yeah, I'm home. I'm not
Oh
out.
my God. So
Anyways, so
fucking
yeah,
bad. So yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on leading up to
so have you had any like realization moments or like aha moments where you've had like a breakthrough? Like, and so let me back up a
you're
little
leading
bit.
the witness. Yeah, where do you want to take me to?
So, like for my 1 year, that whole month before, I was kind of like in this hyper self realization of what every emotion meant to me. I was looking for some aha moment and I couldn't really find one until the 1 year anniversary, until
Mm.
that meeting. And
Mhm.
like, have you had any of that beforehand
No,
or?
I think I'm in a weird spot right now. I was telling you a little earlier, like I think I'm in the midst of this um I hesitate to use the word depression, but I do think I'm a little funked
Like
out.
funk?
Yeah, I think I'm in the midst of this like identity crisis for some reason. And it's interesting because like here I am, like I've got my horse thing going on, which is a very big part of what I feel like defines me as a person. And so I have that in my world and it's in a comfortable place right now and it's all good. But yet I'm like in this weird funk. Like I'm struggling to work. I'm really struggling to do my job and be focused and work hard. I'm like,
Mhm.
I just want to be a puddle on the couch and watch fucking 90 Day Fiance marathons, um, especially the Pillow Talk episodes because those are amazing. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, you need to check it out.
No, go do something
Oh,
else.
do it, do it, do it. I love bad reality TV. I do. It's my dirty
So
secret. So I don't know. So I'm in this weird place where I'm just kind of like, funky. I think I need a vacation. I think I need to get away. I think I need something. I need a change of scenery or something, a reboot. And I just feel a little like trapped and locked down because of
yeah,
obviously
everything.
nobody's traveling. We're not really going anywhere. So I don't know. I'm in kind of a weird space. So no, I can't tell you I've had any amazing ahas. I'm excited to get to the 1 year milestone. It's a big deal, and I am excited about it.
Mhm.
I've been thinking about like my share and wanting to do that and what like I've been going through it a little bit, just kind of trying to figure out what some poignant parts are, which is good because it's making me reflect on my life a little bit. So like
Mhm.
I'm such a freak. I'm like in the car by myself telling my story because I want to have a clue what I want to say if I
Mhm.
do get to share about
So
my
are
one
you
year.
gonna go up and do like the 10
I
minutes?
totally would. I
I
don't
know
know if
you
you can
to-
keep me to
you would
10
nail
minutes
it
though.
too.
I don't know if you can keep me to 10 minutes. And that's kind of why I was going through it. Like I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of ground to cover because I think and I'm sure after the 1 year we'll do, you guys will hear my whole story. I'll give you my
Mhm.
share. But I think a lot of my drinking circles, like it all circles from my self-esteem issues, which are all rooted in childhood shit. So like I feel like it's a big long lead up to like and then I drank my face off. La, 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 and then I drank my face off for like 10 years. So hey,
Right?
here I am. Good to meet ya.
So, okay, so I feel you on the funk. I've been on vacation. I think we talked about last time.
Mm.
Went to the Keys. But I will say that I went to stayed at a hotel at a resort, a local resort here for a night
Mm,
with the
mhm.
girlfriends. That was like the best
Like 3
prescription.
minutes from my house.
Yeah, the best prescription medicine that I really could have. Like
Also one of my customers, by the way.
I was kind of doing it for her, but yet at the same time, I think I got the most out of it. And I just felt so relaxed.
Recharged, yeah.
But then it kind of went away. And I was like, oh, this is going to be an expensive habit to keep recharging. Like, God, this is a pricey night. So, one thing that I've been trying to do is just the next right thing for myself. So, like in AA, they always say, you just do the next right thing, like not
Mhm.
having a drink or going home early or not putting yourself in these situations. And
Right.
like, mine is the smallest thing. So, from like just the next right thing, like, okay, instead of hitting snooze, like the next right thing to do is to get up.
Mm.
So simple as that.
Mhm.
Or like, what is my body telling me? Like you said, like about work, I've been kind of just like, I need to stay in this room and work. And I'm like, this is not what I need to do. I need to go outside, walk around, take a deep breath, come back in.
Right.
So next best thing. So that's kind of like, I felt like it really worked last week. I felt like because it was leading up to my 34th birthday too. So that was like a
Right.
whole
Yes, we
nother
just celebrated Lindsay's B-day.
woo woo. Yesterday was my birthday, sober birthday.
Second sober birthday.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the next right thing. So I think that mantra has been helping me, no matter how small it is. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like even if it's like brush your teeth,
I
go to
think
bed.
my work struggle is so you have a job where like you have directives and
Mm-hmm.
tasks and guidelines of these are the things you need to be doing. We need these deliverables from you. This is mine is a lot more self-motivated than that. Like I have to go out and generate new opportunities for myself. So I've got to be
Mm-hmm.
like there's not really a box that I'm in other than the task portion of once I sell something.
Sell it.
Yeah, once I sell it, like, yeah, there's a task list of things that have to happen, but like I have to be out there generating my own stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very like I have a lot of freedom, which is great, but I'm not being great about Well, and I feel like because of the COVID stuff and people, it's just not as open and free to be out there knocking on doors. It's just
And
weird.
people aren't as friendly.
Yeah.
Like they are, but then they're not.
No,
It's
they're not. It's
weird.
not welcoming right now.
Yeah.
Like when somebody's peeking through a cracked door with a mask on their face, like, what do you want? Do you have an appointment? Like, that doesn't feel good. I don't like that. I like walking in and being like, hey, ooh, I'm
Right.
here.
You can get this party started.
Yeah, right. The party just walked in the door.
Get your pen ready to sign this
Yeah,
contract.
so and I love my job. Like it's
Right.
not I'm certainly not saying I'm not happy with my work in particular. I think I'd be in this situation in any sales role, and that's clearly where I belong in sales. So it'll be fine. That part will get better as we get past.
But it's all,
and there's
I mean,
a lot
it's
of
everything.
transition at work too. So we got bought by another company. They bought us more than a year ago, but we really just transitioned over as of January 1 to being this new company. And they've changed us over to their software, and they've like and our GM has changed roles, so he's not our GM anymore. Now we have a new person who's our GM, and so there's a lot of change going on, and the new company is a lot more red tape than I'm used to. And this is the downside is I love being a big fish in a little pond. I love working for a small company. And my company wasn't small. I mean, we were nationwide, but we felt like a small company.
I can relate to that in my company.
Yeah, we felt like a small company. And so I really like it was all about the customer. It was like if I picked up the phone and called the service manager, I was like, "Hey, I'm at this site and this is blowing up. Can you just get out here?" And he'd come running. Like those kind of things. And now it's like, "Hey, we screwed up and dropped a ball." And they're like, "Well, where's the work order? Where's the thing in the system? Where's the paperwork trail?" And I'm like,
We know Amy loves
could
paperwork.
you just come fix it? What? I don't know.
You wanted me to fill out a form?
One of the sites that I work with out in Naples, apparently Collier County has like some severe like permitting restrictions for certain things, something that here in our area we would never need a permit for. And so I sold it. It's to me, it's not something that should need to be permitted. We weren't installing anything. We were just taking over monitoring their fire alarm. But apparently in Collier County, taking over the fire alarm, you have to submit permitting. So this poor girl who is from, the ADT side, I don't care, I'll say where I work. It's from the ADT side, it sends me like, hey, here's the checklist of all the things you need to do to da da da. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You want me to do that? I don't even know what that is. Like what? She wants like drawings and battery calculations, and I'm like,
You're like sketching with your pen.
I don't know what so I did the right thing. I picked up the phone and I called her and I was like, hey, so I don't want to be difficult, but I don't even know what you're talking about. Like this is very odd and blah, blah, blah. So it's all fine, but there's a lot of change, a lot of different things. It's got a different feel. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be happily planted there. I just have to kind of figure out how to roll with it and not let my steam completely be out of my tea kettle.
And I think in all sales, people kind of, you hit a wall sometimes. Actually, I had to do a couple interviews for my work now to interview salespeople.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're trying to like add this layer of diversity. And so since I'm the only person with a vagina on my team, I got chosen.
The ginger vagina.
Yeah, I was like, all right. So I mean, it still kind of made me feel special because I was chosen, and they could have chose someone else, I guess.
Right.
But I was the closest that they liked, felt comfortable with.
Well, and you work with the salespeople.
Exactly.
I mean, you support the sales team, so
Right.
it's okay for you to have feedback on who you'd like to work with.
Correct, and seeing what the good guys are doing, so they value my opinion, which is nice. So one of the questions I asked, because of course I didn't even know I would be like asking questions. I thought I'd be sitting and listening, and then I could hear my boss say, "Okay, so then I'm going to ask some questions, and then Lindsay's going to ask some questions." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I'm like Googling really quick. I'm like, top 5 questions to ask, and like hope he doesn't ask those. Oh my God, talk about putting me on the spot.
That's hilarious.
So, but one is when you hit a wall. So, Amy, great. You've made President's Club two years in a row. You're doing great. Wow.
Club.
Rookie of the Year, 2019.
Yeah,
way to
Rookie
go.
of the Year I was. That's true.
See, good stats.
Good
I remember.
stuff. Good girl.
Wow, you really made an impact.
I've also been a 110 Club achiever for 6 of the last 12 months.
Wow,
Just saying.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's great. So, Amy, tell me, you're a great salesperson when you're out in the field and, you get all these no's and you knock them down. But we all have our moments, where you might hit a wall and you just, how do you get past that wall? What is it that you do?
Oh, that's a great question, Lindsay. So, I'm sure it's different at different times. But typically, I am a fan, even though I'm funny, I would tell you I'm not really a detail person. I'm a big picture person typically. Like, of course, the details get done. But I like to work backwards. I like to think about what is the goal that I'm working to achieve. So if I'm trying to be salesperson of the year, what's that dollar figure? If I want to sell this dollar figure, how many contracts does that, what's my average contract? How many contracts do I need to get in to hit that figure? How many people do I need to see to quote X number of contracts to get X number of sales? So I like to work backwards and figure out kind
Right,
of the
perfect.
percentage formula. And I think having that end goal of what it is I'm working for in front of me is the motivator. And once I break it down to, okay, so that means I need to meet 10 new people a week or whatever that number is. Once I have that finite figure, it's pretty easy to motivate myself to do
There
that.
you go.
I know she did. She just fucking fixed me. That's
There
not
you
even funny.
go.
So that would be my answer to that. And you're right. Yeah.
So that was another thing too, is like the goal setting, even just through COVID and for yourself and the motivation. Cause like you just said, if you don't know where you're going, how do you get there?
Right.
And so that's even like,
How can we relate that to our sober journeys?
right, exactly. Like if we know we are going to be sober at this, like what do you need to do to get there? If you're going to make it through New Year's Eve, you're going to make it through your 34th birthday, what do you need to do to make that sober? And you work backwards, right? So
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. Thanks for that reminder. I totally know how to re-engage. So good.
it's scary
You
when
just
you
said something that really pinged for me too, and I was gonna. Oh, step work. I was just thinking about step work. Sorry, I don't know why that brought me there. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like interviewing, it's interesting because before I got my job, I went on so many interviews and I applied to like 50 jobs and I was, took it personal, even though I shouldn't have. But, of course I'm gonna take it personal because I have self-esteem issues and blah, 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 blah.
Right, it's all about me.
Yeah. And well, no, it's not because somebody else was
Center
qualified.
of the
Right.
universe.
It's not because somebody else was more qualified, it's because they didn't like me.
Yeah, right, right.
So when I was interviewing these people, it's so crazy because when you get a job, it is like life changing. And this role that we, our salespeople, they make good money, like a lot of
Sure,
money,
Sure.
more money, I make. And like there's a lot of opportunity there. So,
Well, and I mean, that's sales. It's high risk, high reward.
yeah,
Like
but
work
it's
hard,
like,
play hard. Like I get a lot of freedom, but then I make shit money if I'm not busting my
right.
butt.
And we probably would just, whatever. But yeah, it's weird to hold that in under my control. Like, oh my God, like my opinion about this person could make or not, could get them the job or not get them the job.
Oh, yeah.
And so in particular, I interviewed one person who was not working because she got laid off for COVID.
Oh,
And I'm just like, oh my God, here I am interviewing this person. It was just this weird, like,
right. Whose life you could impact
flip
by
side
yeah.
of me 6 months ago crying and being that person that thought I had a great interview. And now I'm the interviewer. And it was just like a weird kind of Twilight Zone-y feeling. And I was like, I don't think I like this responsibility.
That's
like,
really interesting. Have you so you've never been in a hiring role before?
not in this serious of a hiring role.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I've been in operations management,
Right.
Hiring manager a million times, and I can interview like a million people, and I'm very unemotional about that. I can
Ugh.
also fire people left and right.
God, okay.
I've had to terminate so many people. I can't even begin to tell you. I ran a call center. You know how many people I had to fire? It's ridiculous. Redonkulous.
Oh my God.
I fired more people for like attendance issues. It was insanity. But I always genuinely, if you're a good manager and you do your job, and I was certainly not the greatest manager on the planet. I was very immature for a lot of it. I became a manager in my early 20s, and that's probably a bad idea. But if you truly communicate with people when there's a concern and you truly try to coach them through it and you give them the appropriate number of warnings and everything else, should never be a shock when you bring someone in to let them go. Like the writing was on the wall.
Right.
They had to have known it was coming. They had some part in it. It wasn't your fault. You're not firing them because you're the big evil boss. You're not hiring someone because you're the big evil interviewer.
I just don't think about it like
It's
that.
their role, I know. It's a little heartless. You get a little desensitized to it. I
Cold
know.
as ice.
Yeah, but I don't want to do it anymore. Like,
Right.
there is an emotional component for me that I don't want to do it anymore because I didn't feel emotional about it. Like, I don't think you should do it if you don't feel some responsibility to people.
Mhm.
Like, you should have a heart about it.
Right.
When I didn't anymore, it was probably the time that I was done.
So you mentioned not going to a meeting
Mm.
or just going to one. I'm gonna just-
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've probably been averaging like 1 to 2 in a 2-week period.
Wow, that's a way better stat than mine. We went to dinner last night. Yesterday was my birthday. Woo woo, 34.
Baby.
So we drove by because we took US1 and then we drove by our local AA
Fellowship
spot
hall.
that we go to
Yeah.
together. And I was like, look, I'm like, because Pat was in the car, I'm like, that's where I go to AA. And then I saw like the place was packed and it was like 7. So it must have been a 7 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And like, I kind of was like, I want to go in there.
Yeah.
But like, it was just interesting. And I was like, okay, maybe I should go to a meeting. I just haven't felt like a meeting was really going to do it.
Mm.
But
But
you
see,
know what
I
I
feel
mean?
like whenever I go, I'm always glad I went.
It's like the gym
Right.
or a workout.
Always glad I went. And
Always glad you
what
did
I'm
it.
what I'm having a hard time with right now is my group is so I adore my home group. I adore it, and my heart breaks when I see people post on Facebook that they've had like a bad experience at a meeting, and people are like, "Where are these welcoming, happy people who want to give you their phone numbers?" Because that's not what I found. And I was like, "Oh
Aw.
God, it's horrible. Go to a different meeting. Fuck those people." It's any meeting I've ever been in has been
and
incredibly welcoming.
You have to try a couple different ones because you might not hit home run.
Well,
at
and it's
first,
probably
and
you. It's probably not them. Like, recognize we're fucking alcoholics. We're in early sobriety. We're uncomfortable. We feel weird. We're upset that we're there. Like, you got a lot of shit going on when you walk in that door. People probably weren't actively mean to you. You were just crawling out of your skin.
And if they were, try a different one.
Yeah, they were douchebags. Go somewhere else. It's fine. But I adore my home group. Like, the people who are in my home group, my little 5:30 meeting in my hometown, they're so sweet and so wonderful. But the group is divided right now because some people aren't comfortable going in person and some people are. So there is a regular in-person meeting happening where a ton of people that I love and adore are. And there's also a Zoom meeting where a lot of the people that I hung out with at meeting.
How does that work?
The Zoom meeting? What do you mean?
Is there just like one camera pointing into the meeting? And then
No, it has nothing to do with the live meeting. It's like 2 separate entities. So you either
So they're
go
not
to the live
together.
meeting
Okay.
and you have these people, or you're logged on to Zoom and it's just a Zoom meeting with all these people. So it's divided. It's 2 different meetings.
Okay.
It's 2 different meetings.
Gotcha.
And so it's hard because I miss my friends. They're my friends. I love them. I love my group of ladies that I usually sit with at their table, and I just miss them. And so it's nice that I can see them on Zoom, but it's not the same feeling. And then when I do go in person, like, there's other people like, "Oh yeah, hey guys, I haven't seen you in a while because I've been on the Zoom meetings." And I think they all worry about me too. Like, they worry that they haven't seen me, so then I feel bad because I haven't been at either one, and they're like, "Are you drinking? What are you doing? Did you go out? Where are you?" It's awkward.
But
And then there's some people who aren't doing either. So, like, some of my people and some of my close people, like a couple of the girls that I've gotten to be really friendly with and like hang out with, that aren't going either. And so I know it's hard. It's all hard.
Yeah, and I never got close enough in them to kind of like. I think people, when they saw us for my 1 year, I think they were like, "Wow, it's been a year since these ladies
2
rolled in."
whirlwinds, yeah.
You know,
The Tasmanian devils of
I
Lindsay
know.
and Amy.
But I think they were happy to see us, and I don't think that they realized how long we'd been there, right?
Yeah,
And so
because we're not there all the time.
So I'm really excited to go to yours for your 1 year.
Yeah,
and
I
I
love
think
that
we
you're
should
gonna
also go to
come.
ours. I think we should double down.
Yeah. Okay. 2 in one day. We'll do a little marathon.
You think
Wanna
you
go
could
to the
handle
4
that?
and then the
I was thinking
5:30?
that, yeah.
I could.
Is there enough time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as, well,
Should I bake 2 cakes?
ooh, I
I
don't
can
know.
do
That might
that.
be pushing it. Maybe we could do the 4 a different day.
Maybe we'll do the 4 on Thursday.
Yeah, but that's
is the
not really
actual
my
day?
anniversary. I don't
Alright.
care if it's not the actual day.
Maybe
Like,
Saturday morning.
I'd rather go the day after. Yeah,
Or maybe
we
that Monday,
Yeah. Yep.
4 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, because we want to go to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's our
that's our
one.
meeting.
So
I'm so glad you guys get to be a part of us deciding what we're doing with our day.
Well, it's a really big deal. And like, I didn't think we would make it a year, to be
Really?
honest.
Oh,
I wasn't sure.
okay.
I wasn't sure about you. I wasn't sure about me. I
Yep.
just wasn't sure.
Yeah, well, no, me either. I mean, that's why they say one day at a time
Yeah.
because we really fucking didn't know,
And
especially day 3 shakedown. Like,
But
lucky I made it a week.
I was telling Pat, I was like, this is such a big deal because I'm like, we both made it across the finish line.
Yes, without a slip up, without
it-
well, and I mean, I got 20 days to go, so
Right.
whatever.
But I mean, like, without, when I say finish line, obviously it's not the finish line.
No, but
but
we've crossed the marker. We've made it to a marker.
Dear God, yeah.
Swam out to that buoy. Let's think of some other analogies.
So,
That's interesting. I feel like I always knew you would make it.
aw,
Yeah, like I always knew you would make it, and that's a little bit of a driving force for me because I'm like, well,
aw.
she's gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. I've been pretty solid most of the time though. Like, even though there's been some rocky moments, I
Mhm.
don't think I've there hasn't been a point where I've had to pick up the phone because I'm like I'm about to drink.
Correct.
Know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
For me.
I've never been to that point. There's definitely times where drinking crosses my brain, but there's never been a point where I've felt like I was so in the rabbit hole, my sobriety was being threatened. And I think I don't think we got as bad as some people can get when it comes to like being a daily maintenance drinker and getting yourself into a place where like you're physically dependent. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I had that moment after a week of drinking through the hurricane where I went through a little bit of withdrawal, but not like DTs and serious
Well, right.
health issue. So I think I don't know, it's different.
I think it's harder too when you've lost so much. For us, it was a fear of losing these things in our lives.
I
And
lost some substantial things though.
right, but at that moment, you still had a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you could have lost a lot more.
Oh hell yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that made it a little easier to keep going for us because we hadn't, we still had things. We still had our jobs. We still had our
Right.
loved ones in our family. And even if those were rockier relationships, they were still mendable.
Right.
And I think for a lot of people that have lost everything, it's like, why
Well,
bother?
fuck it. Yeah.
And I think a case of the fuckets is just,
It's the throwing the baby out with the bathwater thing though too. Like I think that's what happens when people go out. It's like, well, I slipped up and had a beer, so fuck it, I'm going on a bender. You know.
I would probably be the same way.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
I couldn't not tell anybody. If I fucked up, like I would be. I mean, I can't say I'm on a diet and eat a piece of cheese and be like, oh my god, I can't, and then not tell anybody. Like I can't.
Mm.
I could lie about drinking before, but now I don't even think a lie could, even with the, like I was telling you when, I don't think I could even, like a lie would come out of my mouth and I wouldn't just like.
I don't know what I would do.
So, and we don't have to worry about that.
No, but I genuinely, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. And I'm glad I haven't come to the point where I've had to figure that out, but I don't know what I would do. But yes, so meeting for the 1 year for sure. I will definitely share if I am invited to do so. My meetings, I would like to get to my home group a couple times this month before that. Kind of set the stage that my 1 year is coming up. Because I know that the way they do it in my group, it's like anniversaries are celebrated on the last day of the month or the last
Mhm.
Friday of the month. So, and they always say like, so if you want to share on your anniversary, come to that meeting. So
Hopefully you don't have to share your
I know, what
time
if
with
I'm the only one
anybody.
and then I could just talk forever? Be so fabulous. Anyway, so yes.
You've been working on your steps. So what you
Mhm.
been reading?
So I'm still reading Drop the Rock, which is
it
part
gotten
of
better?
the step 6 work. Yeah, I'm like halfway through it and it's interesting. There's been some talk about, the God stuff that I don't love, but it's terrible. I feel like the minute I put it down, I forget what the hell it said.
No nuggets are
I
sticking?
know. I was talking to MC the other day and I did pull something out of my butt about it, but it's not that fascinating. I don't love it. But it's a lot of self-reflection kind of stuff. Like what made me do these things? How do I perceive myself? How am I taking this journey? Like it's a lot of self-reflection. So it's okay. It's interesting. I'm like halfway through it. I've done my step 6 like worksheet. Like I did all my
Ooh.
like, and it's about the whole concept of step 6 is being willing to have your shortcomings removed.
Do you
And
want to share some of
so
your shortcomings?
sure. Let me finish this quick thought
Okay.
and then I'll go there. But yeah, that's fine. So being willing to have your shortcomings removed, not necessarily them being, poof gone, but being willing to have them taken away. And what the part of the book that I'm in, they're talking about acting as if you're already this person that you want to become, this better
Mm-hmm.
behavior that you want to exemplify, like behaving as though you're already there
Like you're putting
and
it out into the
and
universe.
eventually
Yeah.
you'll just be that. Yeah, exactly. And understanding that nobody's perfect and you'll slip up and be a jerk face and whatever. The shortcomings, my shortcomings that I would be most willing to be removed. My insecurity is rough. I'm really insecure that people think I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'm stupid, or so it's hard. I don't like people telling me how to do things or telling me what to do because I feel like it's an insinuation that I'm an idiot and I
Hmm.
can't figure it out. And it's a terrible way to look at it. Like, I mean, come on. So I don't like that about myself. I wish I was more secure in myself, that it didn't matter to me what other people might think, because it's none of my business, right? It's none of my business what other people think of me. So I don't like that. I wish I was a little more generous. Like, I think I tend to be like, what about me about stuff? Like,
Hmm.
I need to make sure I have enough, like put my oxygen mask on first and then maybe I'll share with you sometimes. Like, I think I could be a little more selfless.
Depending on what you have.
Yeah. I could be a little more selfless. I think I'm a little on the selfish side sometimes. I don't know, those are probably my 2 big ones. Like the
Mm.
insecurity is my biggest, like having more self-esteem so that I wasn't so affected by other people's actions because I feel less than.
Wow, thanks for getting real vulnerable there.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'd have to agree for that being one of mine for sure. It's just, I mean, I think that's why the alcohol was like a buffer for that, right? Like it
Mhm.
just kind of, oh, I felt prettier and sexier and I danced better and
Mhm.
was just more open to like not caring if I made a joke and
And it fell flat.
right,
Right.
like because it didn't matter.
Well,
So,
and I think it's that desperate need of being liked. It's like
mhm,
being validated. Like, you're worthy, you're good, you're funny, you're pretty. You're like just needing that validation
mhm,
that you're something worthwhile versus feeling you're something worthwhile and not caring that anyone surrounding you thinks that or feels that. Like, I think that's the, like, let me show you how
mhm.
great I am so that you'll like me. Like,
So, real quick story. So, this happened to me today, this
oh,
morning.
ooh,
So, after yoga, hence the outfit,
mm,
I was feeling all good about myself. And I was like, I'm going to get a Starbucks coffee. Like, yay, me, a little prize, you know?
mm-hmm,
So, okay, just trying to think of how to describe this without it being such a long story. So, getting into the Starbucks, into the drive-through, there's it's like on the side, like the drive-through, right? So, there's this passing way. There's a street where people are going in both directions. And so you kind of wait on the side to get into the line that
gotcha.
goes through,
Yeah.
right? So there was this guy outside of his truck parked on the street, but on the other side of the drive-throughs, and he was outside of his vehicle in the back seat like dealing with children. So I was like, well, there's no way he's in line, but he's in a really weird spot. So I went around him and
Mm-hmm.
waited. And then when it was my turn, I went to turn in and he laid on the fucking horn like you wouldn't believe. And so everybody is staring and I'm just
At
like,
this line cutter.
which is totally, I mean, it made me feel so embarrassed. And
Well,
then
what are you supposed to do? Roll the window down and be like, "Excuse me,
I was
are
like,
you in line?"
I'm sorry. Like, but I really felt like, and then he just sped off. And I felt like this poor guy is going to think I cut him off on purpose.
Mm.
That is so stupid for me to still be
I
even
know, I'm
telling you
with
this
you. I would be
story.
fretting too. It would bother me too.
And that is
She's like, "No, I'm a
something,
really good person. I'm really
right?
sorry. I would never do that. I would totally let you cut in front
I
of
just
me.
did
It's
yoga
super
on my
nice."
gratitude list. Like, I'm a meme. And
I just
so,
said yoga, my gratitude list, and I cut somebody off at the Starbucks line. I'm going to hell.
right? Like, so that is something I'm going to work on for 34.
Yep. And you
Because
know what? You have no idea what the greater universe plan was for this man. Maybe you stopped him from having
extra caffeine because he was already pretty
right because he was
pissed
already
off.
all keyed up and he was gonna smack his kids around, or if his timing going home was different, he could have been in an accident. Like, you could have saved their lives. You don't know. It's the butterfly effect.
And that's another thing I've been really trying to think about for other people. Like when we had that incident, I think we talked about this before actually, is like people have been going for like, you never know what somebody's going through. So when someone's kind of a dick, because the lady, so while
right, those kids could have just been making him insane, and
They could have
maybe
been
mom's like sick in the hospital.
special needs kid,
Right.
right? You know, like who knows? So I've been trying to really keep that top of mind and just being like, you never know what someone's going through, and they could just be
And
having
at
a
the
really
end of
tough
the
day.
day, you were not being malicious.
Right.
Like, you just have to
But
know
the fact
my
that
actions weren't intentional.
right, but the fact that it was in my head and that insecurity, it's just
Yeah.
like that's such a silly problem to have, and it's I don't know.
But it's what we do. We fret
Right.
about that kind of stuff. We hang on it, we dangle it, we dissect it a little bit. We think about it for a while in the shower while we're washing our hair, right? Like, 3 days from now, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I wonder if he's still upset."
Right.
He's long forgotten the chick that cut him off at Starbucks. Like, we're crazy, and I think that's all part. I don't know. That might be chick brain. I'm not sure if that's chick brain or alcohol brain. But I do think it's all.
It's a self-esteem thing.
It's all
I think.
part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So cut yourself
the
some
drinking
slack.
calms that. Like, the drinking quiets that, calms that, takes away the care of it because it inhibits your emotions, and that's part of why we looked to it for relief. So we just have to find that other thing that calms us, and maybe you need to sit on the floor in your yogi pose and send that man some white light for whatever's going on in his day, and wish for somebody to pay forward a Starbucks coffee for him the next time he's in
So
line.
if he got behind me, I was going to try to buy his coffee.
Oh, that's nice. Like,
'Cause I was
please
like,
tell him I didn't cut him off and I got his
but
coffee.
Pat says that sometimes I buy things for people and I always feel like I need to have a present or something so that people will like me.
Oh,
And I think that's kind of true sometimes.
yeah.
But I also think that I was like raised properly. When you go to somebody's house for dinner, you
Thank
should bring a
you.
bottle of wine.
I agree
Or
with that.
now it's not a bottle of wine, but
Right,
maybe some
bring
flowers.
Yep.
So,
Or dessert.
but part of that is to like invite me back.
Right. Well, and it feels good to give a
Yeah.
present.
Right.
I mean,
I'm a
that's
big giver anyway.
self-serving too. Like, it feels good to give a present.
Right.
I think, yeah, I wouldn't put too much pressure on yourself for
So, so what you reading? So I'm reading this book. I'm just happy to be here.
that. Okay.
I'm kind of running, I don't want to say running out of books, but running out of like these memoir type of books that I find interesting. So this one's kind of funny. This one sparked some weird feelings because this is about a girl who felt like she had all this ambition and then she got pregnant. And so as I'm reaching 34 and I feel like my eggs are, drying up.
Aging on the vine.
Right. Perfect. So yeah, God, I just got a visual
She's like,
of that.
thanks, AIM.
So it's this weird thing because she's talking about like being pregnant and then this baby and all these struggles and she's drinking and drinking. And part
While
of
she's pregnant?
no,
Oh,
it's after she had the baby and all this stuff with her husband. And
I'm like, man, that's ballsy to write that book.
oh my God, there was a book about a lady she had smoked some heroin when she found out she was pregnant. Yeah, but that was the last time she did it, but she still did it. But she confessed. I'm sure she feels better that she confessed it. The baby's fine, whatever. It's a grown kid now. That was on a couple books ago. But so when she was talking about all this, part of me was like, so I have no children, and that's kind of not been a topic, but it's still a thing because I'm only 34, right?
Right.
Part of me was like, oh my God, if I had a baby, would I go back to drinking if it got stressful? And so, yeah, like weird shit, right?
Well, it's not weird. Think about our culture. Like, oh, mommy needs her medicine. Like,
Mommy's timeout.
That's our culture, is like the drinking club of the, mommies.
So yeah, so I think it's been more like, and then
Is that happening? Are we getting pregnant? Are we having a baby?
No,
What's happening?
no. I don't even know if I want a baby. So, but God, all right, that was really deep. But but it was just a conversation about dying
Losing
on the
her
vine.
ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Interesting.
so it just sparked up these weird type of like right, like this fear, I guess, because they're false events appearing real, that if that was to happen. So it was almost like this like fear of, I guess it would be fear of a relapse,
Relapse.
right? Or something
Yeah.
like that. So that was just weird to me because I haven't ever felt
But
like
was she
something would
sober
trigger it.
before she got pregnant?
No.
Okay, so
She was just
different.
drinking and
Different
snorting your average
situation.
amount of.
Yeah, she got knocked up because she was drunk.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, but
And I'm not bashing
yeah.
this woman. I'm just saying, like, so I think allay your fears. You're not that person. You're a
Mhm.
sober woman who would be intentionally getting pregnant and having a baby with a partner who is a supportive, good partner. And I don't think you'd be in danger of relapsing from that. I
Yeah,
think
it was just a weird,
yeah, yeah.
like, because I feel like I can overwhelm myself with all these, like, whoa,
Yeah,
clearly,
and that's like the
obviously.
ultimate of overwhelm. Like, here's a human, do something with it.
But it's interesting. I'm interested to see how it turns out, like how she gets sober because she's such a train wreck right now, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and with the kid and then the husband and like this this need to never stop. Like she said she's the only one that couldn't like let the party die. And there's just so much that I can relate to that of like everyone else. Like
No, let's
why
pull the shots out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's only 3
Don't go home ever.
ever.
Live here. We'll just be drunk all the time. It'll be great. Yeah, totally get it.
But just feeling like living in that moment, like, oh, I wish this night would never end. And like this, like,
Even though I won't remember it tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Oh, good. That one sounds interesting. Maybe I'll read that.
I'll finish it.
I
And
know.
then
I
tell you
gotta
if it's
get
worth
the F
it.
past this drop the rock thing so I can move on with
I
my
know. I feel like I
life.
want you to read it. I really want you to read.
Quit Like a Woman.
No, what's the book I really love that I said I wanted to
How
buy
to
you?
Control Your Drinking or
Nope.
something. Oh.
Russell Brand.
Oh yeah, Russell Brand. That's right. That's on
Because
my
his
list.
book
today.
was so funny.
Every time we talk about a book, I'm trying to take notes about it.
So funny. And if you haven't read his book, it's about the steps and it's hilarious. And it's hilarious, but true. It's just like I feel like it's like a new age perspective on the steps and like cutting out all the bullshit.
Oh, which one?
Russell
Oh,
Brand's.
really?
Yeah, it's really good.
He's
as
such a conundrum. I really
as
like
you're
him.
going through the steps, I would be interested to see what you think about it. So that's still on your list of your Lindsay
I
present.
have a notes list in here that for some reason the first line is apple bottom jeans.
Were you thinking of the song?
Yeah, clearly. It's
That's
clearly a music
awesome.
list, but I don't know what the list was for because I wouldn't sing that. Have you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
No.
Okay, so like funniest
Oh, I think I've seen it once, like high or
funniest
drunk.
movie of all friggin' time. So watch it straight. It's fucking hilarious. But Tom Cruise is in it, and I didn't even I didn't know it was Tom Cruise till the very end because he's all in like makeup and it doesn't look like him. I think it doesn't look like him at all. Now that I know it's him, I can't unsee him, but I didn't know it was him. And every time or maybe it was no, every time we see him and he's like celebrating, he's supposed to be like this like super Jewish, like smarmy gold wearing, hairy chested like movie producer. And he clicks the remote to his stereo in his office and Apple Bottom Jeans comes on and he's like getting low with it.
That's awesome.
Hysterical. So that's what I think of every time I see it. But I don't know why that's a list. Anyway, happy to be here writing down book names.
No, we'll read the Russell Brand one first.
Russell Brand. Okay. All right.
All right. So great episode. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
tuning
thanks
in.
for tolerating this.
I
Went
know.
around a little bit, a couple of circles.
We were a little bit more
We're really
chatty.
Yeah, we're really glad you're still here.
But thank you, and we'd love to get your feedback. Like, what are some fears that kind of trigger you, right? Like, I had that really weird one about the baby thing. Or if you have any questions or...
And what are your shortcomings that you want to let go of?
Yeah.
What are the rocks that you want to drop?
Ooh.
It's a good one. Really like that.
I like it.
So you can email us at wildgirlsgonesober@gmail.com, or you can slide into our DMs on our Facebook page.
Look at how cool you sound.
And Instagram. We're on Instagram too. Yeah, and so until next time, you can stay sober wherever you are.
We choose the dude in paradise.